Okay, can we start?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts? Any doubts? So we will start with critical analysis of Durkheim. So we have discussed about social facts, and then division of labor, and then suicide, and then theory of religion. So these are the four topics which are there in the syllabus, and we completed that. Now we will go for critical analysis of each, and also in general we will see the critical analysis of Durkheim. So as we always do, first what we will discuss in case of any critical analysis question, we will first discuss about what? Contribution, okay, and then we will discuss about the criticism. Okay, so in criticism we will divide this into two parts, general and specific, right? So see, some mics are on. Can you turn off the mics? Anuja, Ram, your mics are on. Anuja, your mic is on. Okay, so we first discuss about the contribution of Emile Durkheim. Then in criticism, we will discuss general criticism of Durkheim. Okay, so generally how Durkheim is criticized. And then we will also discuss about the specific criticisms of each theory. Like we will discuss about social facts, and then division of labor, and then theory of religion, and also the theory of suicide. So we will discuss all these specific criticisms. Okay, who's asking this indirect experiment? So yesterday I have discussed about indirect experiment 2-3 times. Then what is the problem? You were not there or you didn't understand? Who's this? You were not there yesterday or you did not understood? What is the problem? What is your issue with indirect experiment? Can you tell me? Who's asking this indirect experiment? Your name is not there, so I am not able to understand who is this. Okay, so here we will discuss about general criticism. Like generally Durkheim is criticized on certain aspects. Okay, you can tell me now, what are the general criticisms of Durkheim? Can you tell me? Can you tell some at least 2-3 points which you can write in all critical analysis? Let's suppose critically analyze social fact, or division of labor, or theory of religion, or suicide. You can write this in every questions. So that is what I mean by generally Durkheim was criticized on these accounts on the basis of his approach. So can you tell some 2-3 points?
Focus more on society, sir.
Focus macro approach. Yeah, macro approach. So which thinker you will use here to criticize? Weber. So you will use Weber, right? So you will say Durkheim is giving more importance to macro, ignoring the micro aspect, or you can say he is talking mainly from the perspective of society and ignoring the individual. Okay, so you can use Weber to criticize this point. Then, apart from this,
he used secondary data.
Pardon?
He used secondary data.
You mean to say secondary data? He used secondary data. Okay, so he used secondary data, but that may be specific to his theory of religion and suicide. In general, we can't say, okay, you can say, yeah, inductive approach. He is claiming that he is an inductivist, right? So, but he is not actually an inductivist, and in fact, it has been seen and it has been criticized that the theory was there in his mind even before he take up the analysis, right? So, despite his claim that he is an inductivist, so it was seldom proved the same in reality. So, he is actually in his theory of suicide or in his theory of religion, if you see, it can be easily established that the conclusion was there in his mind, and that's why he went for indirect experiment and he referred to ethnographies, etc. Actual procedure he have not followed. Okay, so despite his claim that he is an inductivist, then still suffered with this problem. Then yeah, functionalist. Yeah, he is ignoring the the dysfunctions, right? He's always trying to see everything in functional term. For example, even in religion also, in division of labor also, he's trying to see everything in a functional term, ignoring the dysfunctions of any particular social fact or any particular social phenomena. So which thinker you will use here? Conflict perspective you need to use. For that you will talk about Marx. So you can say, especially if you talk about division of labor theory, you can say according to conflict or Marxian perspective, division of labor result into alienation. Or in case of religion also you can use that. Okay, so yeah, that micro perspective is already discussed, not giving focus to individual. So these are the general criticism. Contribution now I will give you. Criticism general we have discussed. Specific also you might be having something in your mind. Apart from this general, maybe one or two is enough for all the theory. For example, if the question is about, if the question you are getting is like critically analyze, okay, analyze division of labor. Suppose this is your question. Then the structure will be, you will write an introduction that we have discussed many times, and you have enough content for you to write an introduction for Durkheim. Durkheim was considered as a father of modern sociology. Okay, so positivism, scientific approach, his stress on social facts, all these things you can write in introduction, maybe 30 to 40 words, and then you need to write about the theory of division of labor, where you will define division of labor, you will explain the cause, you will explain the function, and you will explain the pathological form. This much has to be there. After that, the critical analysis will start. You will go for this formula CCR. So contribution I will give now. Criticism, general we have already discussed. Specific I will give you now. Okay, and in this theory, in this question, division of labor is asked. So here in specific, you will write about division of labor, and then relevance. Okay, so that's how your answer should look like. Now if the question is about, instead of division of labor, if it is about suicide, this will remain the same. Okay, instead of division of labor you will write suicide. Okay, so the CCR in that contribution remain the same, general criticism remain the same, specific will change to CCR, this suicide, right? So this part and this part will change, relevance will remain the same. Exactly the same thing you will do in case of social fact as well as religion. So that is how we have discussed critical analysis so far. So here we will go for the contribution part. Okay, so Emile Durkheim may be sociology's greatest theorist till date, according to Randall Collins. Durkheim's theories are considered significant not only in terms of distinctive sociological explanation, but also for highlighting the importance of studying social order in sociology, right? We have seen that already. He was very much concerned about maintenance of social order. He attempted to develop a distinct subject matter for sociology and proposed number of scientific methods. So what is subject matter of sociology according to Durkheim? It is the study of social facts. Okay, for the first time he used the functional perspective for the purpose of theorization, and you can explain this in all his theory. Division of labor is trying to identify the function, even theory of religion and everywhere. He even attempted to resolve the problem of illegitimate teleology in functionalism by separating cause and function, which he exhibits in his theory of division of labor and religion, right? So illegitimate teleology, you know, we have discussed that if you explain the cause in terms of function, this is what a circular argument only. Cause is a function and function is a cause. This is what illegitimate teleology. So to avoid this, Durkheim make a distinction between cause and function. He explained the cause and then function. For example, if you talk about division of labor, what was the cause of division of labor? The cause of division of labor was struggle for existence in the present occupation. That was the cause of division of labor. But what is the function of division of labor? The function of division of labor was integration. And also it is giving the much required autonomy for the individual to produce. So he is making it very clear that the separation of cause and function, and through that illegitimate teleologies are avoided. Okay, and similarly the same thing you can see in his theory of religion also. The cause is something and the function is something, right? Function is it is integrating, and the cause is those primitive people wanted to experience that feeling and to signify the supernatural force which was present at that point of time. they established or they created a totem, that is a cause of religion. So cause was that it signifies that collective effervescence or that state of exaltation, but the function it provides is actually totally different, right? The function is actually integration. So that is what I mean by separation of cause and function. Why separating cause and function? To avoid illegitimate teleologies. Teleology means giving the circular argument between cause and function. If I ask you what is the cause of something, you will tell the function of that item. Okay, and that is a problem. Or if I ask you function, you will tell the cause, and it is actually a circular argument. That situation is what illegitimate teleology. Finally, Durkheim's approach is considered pragmatic when he deals with social phenomena which are considered generally as problems. In this context, for example, problems like suicide, crime, has been understood by Durkheim as normal phenomena in societies. Due to these contributions, Durkheim is considered as the greatest theorist till date. Randall Collins, in his book 1994, states, Emile Durkheim may well be sociology's greatest theorist to date. So the general criticisms that we have already discussed only you will see here. Durkheim's theories are often accused to have employed a complex of deductivism. Deductivism means what? The theory is already there in the mind of the researcher, right? The deductive approach is like the hypothesis is formed first and then you will go for the analysis. So here also, that is what we can understand. In spite of his claim for inductivism, it's a kind of deductivism only. Firstly, he used data from secondary sources, and secondly, it seems that the theories and ideas were there in Durkheim's mind even before he took up the analysis. Durkheim's analysis also lacks sensitivity for individual on subjective meanings, emotions, motivations, etc. So here we are talking about he is giving importance to society and ignoring the individual's own part, the consciousness, the meanings, emotions, etc. And you can use Weber here, elaborate on Weber. Once we complete, tomorrow we will start with Weber. So you will be in a position to answer this question, this area you can explain with Weber also. Already you know about Weber from the chapter 2, chapter 1 discussions. Thirdly, Durkheim ignored conflict. So who will be used here? Marx you will use here. So there is no point in explaining it again. It is just that one deficiency is there means you can use the other person to criticize. Here he is stressing on functionalism, so use Marx. Here he is focusing on society, so you use Weber. Why can't you use Marx here? Because Marx is also giving importance to society, ignoring the individual. So based on the context, you need to use different thinkers while writing criticism. And once we complete all the thinkers, writing criticism and critical analysis will be very easy for you, because if the thinker X is asked, you can talk about Y and Z to criticize X. It is very easy for you. For example, Marx is asked, you can use, on one side you can use Durkheim by using the perspective. Marx is using conflict perspective, Durkheim highlight the functional perspective. Another side, if you see, Marx is using macro approach and Weber you can use saying micro approach. Like that you can use different other thinkers and interconnect everything. There is no need to remember or mug up all these things. All these things automatically have to come to you, and that's what is expected from you, and that's the way we are interlinking everything in sociology, especially in the chapter of thinkers. We are so strong in thinkers, and that is expected that you will also do in that way. Okay, so Durkheim proposed development of universal theories or laws, but none of his theories can be truly considered as universal. Moreover, his theories cannot be empirically tested. If you need to test that theory of religion itself, you have to go to the Arunta tribes and you need to test it, and practically it is not possible. Finally, the scientific methods which Durkheim proposed rely heavily on subjectivity of the investigator for its application. So here you can see that Durkheim is stressing on two parts. First is inductivism, but despite his claim for inductivism, he used a deductive approach. Secondly, he is talking about scientific approach or objectivity, and that is also compromised in his method of indirect experiment, right? For example, indirect experiment is what? Instead of studying the complex form of religion, he chose to study the smaller religion, and he tried to establish the cause of the smaller religion with the assumption that the same will be the cause of the modern religion when it have come into existence at that point of time. But which smaller religion you're going to choose, which ethnographies that you're going to refer, which kind of data that you're going to collect, all these depends on whom? All these depends on the investigator. It depends on investigator means what? You give some choice, or you give some importance to the investigator, means obviously the subjectivity of the investigator will come into picture. Social facts. Criticism on social facts. Apart from this, I have given criticisms here also. The criticism on social facts. Okay, so a lot of criticisms are there. You hardly need one or two from each. Criticism on suicide is there. Criticism on religion is there. But here also it is coming. Maybe repetition. Okay, so social facts. Durkheim argued for observation of social facts as things, but it is very difficult to do the same in practice. The interpretation may differ from person to person. This criticism you have also raised when we discuss about the theory of social fact. So I hope you can best connect it to the actual situation. It will be obviously very difficult to consider any social fact as things, right? Because social facts are not like physical objects. So whatever he claimed, it is very difficult. Durkheim advocated absolute objectivity, and which is not possible in practice. Personal preconceptions cannot be removed while studying the social facts. Durkheim negated the individual will while studying the social facts. His theories are inadequate in explaining the different influences of social facts on different persons. In this light, Weber states, social facts do not exist as things in their own right, waiting to be gathered as pebbles on the beach. That means social facts are not things like you can go and pick it, right? Like the pebbles. It's not possible. So you cannot treat it as things, as Durkheim says. It has to be seen from individual perspective also. According to Weber, social facts exist within the individual and do not influence the individual from outside. So Weber says it exists inside the mind of the individual. For example, according to Durkheim, you are preparing for civil service exam because of the pressure from family or pressure from society, etc. Right? But what Weber will say is it is not the pressure from society directly. All these things, the society, the family, everything is there in your mind. But the individual will take decision on the basis of individual's own interpretation of social fact. So otherwise, everybody is having the same circumstances, everybody is having family, everybody is living in the society, so everybody will aspire for this exam, okay, and everybody will prepare for this exam. So ultimately what Weber says is somewhat more rational and logical, because he says that all these things are there in the mind of the individual, and the individual will take decision based on his own interpretation of social fact, whether he want to become IAS officer or he want to become something else or not, right? So Durkheim failed to propose any criteria for identifying the objective manifestation of social fact, and that has been totally left to the investigator. Again, this was the main point that we have discussed now, objective manifestation in terms of what? In terms of collective representation. If you remember, we have discussed this, and I've told you it is totally left out to the investigator to identify these collective representation or the objective manifestation. So if it is left out to the investigator, there is a problem with the personal bias. So it is the investigator who is going to choose the collective representation. Okay, so that will be a problem. Then division of labor. We'll come back to this. Before that, relevance. Okay, so here what we have done is we have discussed about the contribution we have done, and we have discussed about the criticism. In that general criticism we have done, and in specific we have talked about the social facts. Now what is left out? Division of labor, and then suicide, and then religion, that we will do. So this we have done, this we have done, and this we have done. Now we need to do the relevance. Okay, so all these are, it's like capsule. It is giving to you and it has to be there in your mind, right exactly the same. You don't want to read any standard textbooks or anything for getting all these points, okay? And hardly you need what? You need maybe 1 or 2 points from here. And for that, it is not possible for you to read any textbook. You don't want to do that. Then here, again, from general criticism, maybe 1 or 2, or maximum 3. Your answer should not be full of criticisms, no? When you write 3 itself, you're writing the most important thinkers. Anyway, you will write Marx, then you will write Weber. That too itself is very good. Okay, and then specific criticism also you need to write 1 or 2. So then itself 5 criticism. And how can you write more than 4 or 5 criticism in a single answer? It is practically not possible, and it is not desirable also. So you have enough content here. Now don't go behind too many books in search of content, especially for thinkers. I may not say this for any other chapter that you can do, but in case of thinkers, that's actually not required. Everything is well prepared, and you just need to reproduce the same thing if it is asked. And obviously you should be in a position to interconnect everything, and interconnection is what matters. Okay, so once something you have learned in Marx, how you're going to apply that in Durkheim and Weber and vice versa, that is also matters. So relevance, according to Durkheim's macro approach may not find favor in an era of postmodernism. Nowadays it may not be that great, because why? Because the society is mainly based on heterogeneities and complex, and individualism is so high. So maybe micro perspective is better to understand the current society, but his theories and approach and methods are still considered relevant, especially from the point of view of development of sociology. Social phenomena studied by Durkheim still exist. In spite of all efforts of welfare states, the social problems continue. This makes Durkheim's pragmatic approach relevant. Durkheim's theories are highly relevant in understanding social order in modern society. His conception of differences and similarities, both generating states of integration, is quite useful in understanding present complex society. For example, in the present society, division of labor integrate people by generating functional interdependence. But religion still exists and binds people into community, and thereby helping in maintaining social order. So we have discussed this. Even in the differences, you can see there is a unity because of division of labor. Among the differences, there is a unity because of division of labor. But at the same time, religion integrate people on the basis of similarity, right? So both differences as well as similarities integrate people. Differences integrate people because of division of labor, because people are different. I've told you, while we like those who resemble us, we are also drawn towards those who are different precisely because they are different, right? So that division of labor integrate people who are different, because we all are here together because of division of labor, okay, and it is because of organic solidarity. At the same time, similarities also integrate people, and that is what we have seen in case of religion. So here his conception of differences and similarities both integrating people. Differences integrate people in terms of organic solidarity, okay, and that we have seen in terms of division of labor. While we like those who resemble us, we are also drawn towards others who are different precisely because they are different. We seek in others what we lack in ourselves, and associations are formed wherever there is a true exchange of services there, right? So that is what in terms of difference. Similarity means the beliefs and practices. Those who follow that beliefs and practices will be united under the single moral community called church, all those who adhere to them. What does that mean? It is about the similarity. What is that similarity? Those people who are following the same beliefs and practices will be united under the single moral community called a church. That means religion only. So his ideas, both the differences as well as similarities, create the instances of integration in society, one in terms of division of labor and in terms of other in terms of religion. Therefore, despite ever increase in individualism, people tend to live together. Durkheim's theories has also been used to explain the relevance of internet communities for the emergence of global social order. Similarly, Durkheim's theories also help to explain the continuation of number of institutions which are considered not relevant, right? Some festivals are not relevant even now. The harvest festivals, and harvest at all is not there. So harvest festival may not be relevant, but that festival is celebrated by people. Why? Because people love the togetherness. People celebrate just for the reason, just they want the togetherness. Okay, everybody will come from every other cities or from every other countries, and people will be together because people love that togetherness. So most of the festivals are still existing, even though their relevance has been gone, because that the people love the togetherness. And it is not that God worshipped, it is a society which is worshipped, or it is a togetherness which is worshipped. Okay, so now comes the specific criticisms. So these are the specific criticisms. Social facts we have discussed. Criticism of suicide. So what all criticism you'll write in suicide? You can read that later, but what you can tell me what all criticisms you can use. There is a study by Atkinson, that is the first one I have written. Atkinson study means what he says is that data collected itself is wrong, because most of the suicides are reported as suicide after the postmortem mostly. Okay, so during the autopsy, it is those who are doing the autopsy, they are known as coroners. It is based on their assumptions and their understanding that death will be classified as suicide. For example, I have told you if there is a ligature mark, that may be considered as suicide, but it can be a murder also, right? Ligature mark will come if you are killing a person. In that context also it can come, or consuming poison, that vomiting and all those symptoms will be there. So seeing the symptoms, the coroners will identify whether it is a normal death or a abnormal death. So it is all their assumption. Firstly, coroner's assumption will be there, that may be correct or wrong. Secondly, the data collected may not be actually correct because it is based on coroner's assumption. Thirdly, in that data, most of the cases of suicides might not have reported because of the stigma attached with the suicides. The family may not report it as suicide. The family will tell this as heart attack or something like that. So all these issues was there. Okay, so data collected is wrong. So obviously from the data collected, if you come up with an understanding, if the data itself is wrong, then the theory will be wrong. Okay, then he is not considering the attempted cases of suicide. Only those success suicides are taken into consideration. Attempted cases are not taken into consideration, because that also will tell you that integration and regulation problem, right? Then